Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final match of week 1. We have Bumbo Aura Farmers versus No Stop, two teams that have quite strong players as well. No slouch to the scene. The final match of week 1 will be tonight, which means that all the standings will update and the Swish stage will continue with each team that is 1-0 playing another team that's 1-0, and likewise, the team playing another team that is 0-1 playing another team that is 0-1. And draft is about to get underway. So let's just dive straight into draft. Bans coming out immediately. 3 bans targeted specifically onto it looks like the jungle and mid pool, with Victor and Yone being very popular zero domain champions. Meanwhile, on the other side, Aurora, Echo, and Tristana being banned out. And we have Rags the Boss joining us finally. Hello, hello.
Sorry about that.
All good, all good. Let me pull up the the stream. You can just look at my stream. Like yeah, see this. But yeah, we just started draft. I can post the draft link in the chat. There you go. So, first pick, Senna, being locked in for Bumbo Aura Farmers. Pretty interesting priority. We've seen Senna being rising in the ADC meta slowly after these Smolder nerfs. Now she's really the premier DFT abuser with that Black Cleaver interaction. And on the other side, Sivir and Shinzao being taken. A good team fight combo. And Wukong will be matched.
Helmet, the one that is people love this Sand Champion. I'm not fully sure how strong it is, but you know, every time I've seen it, it looks pretty broken.
Yeah, I agree. In theory, it sounds strong. It has a pretty good win rate in solo queue, but yeah, it's been.
I am seeing a lot of low ops playing into it, so it could just be that could be a player gap, you know.
That is true. That is true. Everyone trying to get on the inflated win rate train, and Janna being locked in as the last pick on the side of No Stop. So it is an enchanter meta, but Janna being the first lock in is pretty surprising.
I think it's just comfort for Sonya here. Just locking in the Sivir Janna. And the Karma ban coming in, even though Janna's been picked, targeting Karma mid, I'm assuming, for Utopian Soldier.
You have some info. I don't. If you know it's Karma mid, that's pretty good. So
I mean, I'm assuming it is because Janna's already shown, so I'm assuming they're banning a Karma mid here, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Meanwhile, on the other side, No Stop, taking away 2 Senna pairings that could be decent. The Blitzcrank a little bit interesting, but Tom Kench for sure a great pairing alongside the Senna.
Yeah, because you kind of do have the Silver Spell Shield to kind of negate the Blitzcrank value. But obviously, if you hook the Janna is just completely dead. So.
Yeah, the final ban being Akali. So, protection ban for zero domain. They will choose to hover the Ahri, a great pairing with the Shinzao, a great pairing with the Sivir. A very self-sufficient mid laner that has a ton of utility. Makes a lot of sense. We'll see if zero domain is able to enforce his will upon this mid matchup. I feel like it's pretty Syndra favorite.
I think it kind of depends on jungle. Because like, well, if you ever blow Cinder Flash, she's just sitting there waiting to die
Yeah.
against Zinari. So, but in lane, I think it could be Cinder favorite.
Yeah,
The Seta Sona.
Yeah, I actually really like this. Picking an enchanter that can scale pretty well. Janna has a pretty rough time into most of the range support pool. And Sivir might be pretty decent in lane and can be self-sufficient, but it's not like you'll ever outscale the range of Senna. As long as Bumbo or a farmers don't really just clump up and run straight at her, the Senna Syndra can really space themselves and do a number on Sivir, Shinzao, Ahri, these relatively short-range champs. So they just chill bot lane a little bit, farm up, and this double scaling bot lane from the side of Bumbo Aura farmers I like a lot.
Aatrox blind pick.
Yep, the name of the game is Comfort for these blue side blind pick tops. That's been kind of the trend so far in week 1. Blue side kind of just, whenever they need to, pick whatever they're comfortable on top lane. That matters much more than picking these things that in theory could be safe. And the Cassante will maybe be locked in.
Cassante? Yep.
Yeah, so Cassante locked in for the side of No Stop. And I don't really know the players too well besides Utopian Soldier. I know that guy's good. But other than that, this is just a pretty straightforward 5v5 Deathball comp from No Stop. Very solid. They have champions that are very self-sufficient, champions that are frontliners. They work well together. Just a strong Deathball comp. Meanwhile, on Bumbo or Farmers, these laners a little bit more potent, but also a little bit more vulnerable.
Yeah, and honestly, champions aside, the matchup I really want to look at is the mid lane matchup. We have the 2 highest elo mid laners in the tournament going up against each other in the first game of the first week of the split. So I'm really excited to see this matchup, just how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. Eyes on the mid lane. It feels like everything will really center around them. With so much playmaking coming out from this Ahri and so much damage, raw damage potential from this Syndra. So we will see how these drafts pan out. Which side do you prefer, Rex?
I don't know. I feel like it's going to be hard for Simba to play this game. I'm looking at who she's hitting, and she's essentially just forced to hit this Wukong or this Aatrox, and I would prefer blue side, I think.
I agree. I like the solo lanes from blue side. The Aatrox blind pick wasn't really super punished. I think Zero Domain will be very comfortable on this Syndra. He's a very comfortable mage player, and we will see how these lanes play out. As we take a short break, we'll be loading onto the Rift for game number 1, so stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live with game number 1 between Bumbo Aura Farmers versus No Stop. Both teams loading onto the Rift. Shouldn't expect any funny business. Both teams just want to farm. Looking pretty strong in these lanes and in these 5v5s.
Yeah, I'm really looking at just the jungle situation here. How are they going to use the Ahri especially to invade after level 6, look for bot plays. And yeah, it should. I mean, I can't imagine early game will be too crazy. At least presets.
Yeah, both laners trading the Raptor wards. Pretty classic. And there will be early scuffling already in this mid lane.
I don't think Cinder got first strike though. I think that's big winning for Ahri.
Yeah, Ahri, Utopian Soldier opting for this Electrocute gives him slightly more laning power too, and you can see Enos is really putting on the hurt already, proccing this DFT. Felix Block getting a few autos back. Not too bad. Utopian Soldier.
First strike got cancelled again.
How does first strike work? Like it's just you just hit him, no?
It's you have to do damage. If it's up, it's whoever does damage to you first. So if you do damage, it procs. If the opponent does damage to you, you get cancelled. So you don't get any first hit value at all. So
okay,
both trades already got the first hit, so if he didn't get first hit procs on either.
Yeah, Utopian Soldier dropping a little bit low now and doesn't have, crucially, the teleport for this lane. Opted with the Ignite to try and play a little bit more aggressively and had the HP advantage earlier on, but some good trains back by Zero Domain was able to get the HP advantage once again.
I mean, I feel like these trades are just going really hard, much harder for Felix Bond and Sonya to sustain that phase and Enos have. They're not overly down in mana either, so I think he's pretty in control of this bot lane.
Yeah, so gonna be quite a bit of scuffling between these mid and bot laners, but in the top lane, Dark just gonna hold it down on this Cassante pick. He's doing pretty well for himself. Already has the wave control, but important thing to note, Bumbo is pathing top lane, it looks like, right? So these junglers are crossing each other, and they know that because they saw each other on their Raptors. So we'll have to see how this game plan adapts, with Bumbo pathing for an Aatrox, and Xin Zhao covering his bot.
Yeah, I think to know, kind of going off your point from earlier, Cinder's TP advantage already resulting in a massive CS wave. He forces Ahri to back on a wave that's pushing into her. TP's back, plays the whole wave, and has item advantage for maybe a 2v2 mid lane. Doesn't look like it. The both jungler, or I'm not fearless will recall. I think Bumbo would just say that spells be taken after the reset.
Bumbo just looking for an optimistic double scuttle, but all-time Virus having taken the strike already. Duffel strikes land from Dark. They get a little bit of trade back, and both top laners dropping low. Nightstone has the Ignite and is able to get the auto reset. The final auto secures the kill for Nightstone with that Ignite in the solo lane.
I don't think he was expecting the Ignite at all. I think he would have won it otherwise. At least it would have been close, but with the Ignite, pretty hard waiting for Nightstone, and he picks up first blood here. Secures his team a 1k gold lead.
Yeah, Nightstone, another one of these multi-role talents. DMV Rivals got plenty of them. Played mid lane, I think, last Rivals. He's played jungle. Now he's shown up in the top lane, claiming first blood in a solo kill for himself. Didn't even need his jungler there. Now we see L9 Fearless is able to come in, but Zero Domain dodges that Flash Crescent Strike and dodges the Charm Flash as well. He's just going to be able to walk out. The Ahri has no more abilities. Now L9 Fearless might be stuck under the turret. But camera pans to bot mid lane and pans away. The fight continues, and Utopian Soldier throws a charm, doesn't land. Bumbo may be able to walk it out, but the last scatter of the week gives them just enough time to finish him off under the turret. A great play by Zero Domain turns around the kill onto L9 Fearless.
Very unfortunate there. if either charm hits, it could be at least for the first charm hits it's a kill for sure. If the second one hits, maybe Outline Fearless makes it out. Good start by Outline Fearless, but unfortunately the slick movement of our highest ranked mid laner here, 2K LT Peaker, for a reason.
Yeah, not even highest ranked.
The 1-4-0.
Not even highest ranked mid laner, highest ranked player in the entire tournament. And we show
sorry,
he's showing off. Yeah, exactly what that moniker entails. And Bumble Aura Farmers are just off to a great start. 2-0. Yanks.
Almost 2K gold lead at 5 minutes in the game.
Yeah, I want to see how much this is on the mid lane. It's almost 700 on the mid lane alone.
Yeah.
And then that solo kill in the top lane, another 600. The kill in the jungle, another 300. So this top side,
even the supports, phase is about 10 gold ahead of Sonya Wu.
Huge.
Getting in on the action here.
Pulls Nightstone into the turret. Nightstone has to flash out, has World Ender available still, but might just be waiting for the Atofo Strikes to wear out. But now Nightstone, heading out the Atofo Strikes, is able to look for more. But they don't get it. Now Bumbo might be stuck in a bad spot. Should have W available, but the Dragon Assist pushes him back into the team. So they pick up a wandering monkey in the river.
Look, all 5 players on blue side might be ahead, but they are not ahead of their 6th member, the Dragon. Dragon shows that he is supporting for a red team.
Yeah, Nightstone will just find that sweet spot, a great ignite to secure the kill. And these solo laners are just so powerful. But yeah, that lob from Dragon, you take that every day of the week. You need that assist.
Is this a winning matchup for Aatrox? Because it looks very hard as soon as Aatrox gets items.
Probably. The Crescent Guard is popped to try and escape. Cyclone used as well to try and see, but now here comes Utopian Soldier. The Spirit Rush available, but they won't choose to chase the play any further. Both junglers trade ults and walk out.
He's walking up.
Yeah, now we can see exactly why I believe Sivir wasn't a super great pick into this Senna. Senna doesn't really feel super pressured from waves crashing in non-stop, right? And now we can see Enos is just slowly outranging them, outpushing them, and poking them over and over.
He also has the tier, and the only way they can play the lane really like long is he can like sustain. But he's got to up HP and up mana the entire lane phase. It's so hard. Oh
my god, Utopia Soldier dropping so very low to the unleashed power. Has to use the last Spirit Guard to get out, but that's a 30 CS lead and growing for Zero Devane. So far in this isolation play, trying to look for the engage, but now that he's burned the W, he might be a little bit vulnerable. Nightstone playing his range perfectly and looking for the play. But now we see a good roam by Sonya Wu and Online Fearless. They're covering in case Nightstone wants to look for the solo kill once again. Has a ward in river, so he might be able to spot out the Xin Zhao a little bit earlier. But now it looks like Bumbo here might also be walking in. I don't think they have vision of Sonya. World Ender is popped, and Nightstone might chase him down. Has no ignite available. And now Bumbo to back them up, so it will just be a 2v2 on this wave. Now Online Fearless, Wind becomes Lightning. Lands, Crescent Guard is dropped, but no damage is available on Nightstone. And now Dark is just going to kidnap Bumbo across the map. Cyclone is not available, so Bumbo has to flash out. Sonya Wu flashes in across the wall, and now a turret dive materializing out of nowhere. It seems Charm is missed. Nightstone gets the auto, walks it out, and that is a heist from Nightstone in the top lane. Now here comes Zero Domain to come and get the backup kills. Online Fearless burns his own flash to get away from that scatter of the week. And Nightstone putting on a clinic in this top lane.
Yeah, the fact that Ahri had no ult there, just not as useful as a champion. He has to kind of just hit this dry charm that is so hard to hit that. And Nightstone ends up picking up the kill in what was almost 2v4, was it? until
Zero Domain got
Zero
there,
Domain. Yeah, Zero Domain got it. It was really just straight through 4, and they make it out. Get a kill on top. Push this gold lead to almost 3.5k.
Yeah, Sonya Wu went top so early on, and they thought they would have the numbers play, but they were still able to hold on, and Night's on nigh unkillable. Now with the Black Cleaver completed 10 minutes in, this Cassante is going to have a rough time in that set.
And I just sitting there, just getting more and more stacks, just scaling, being the late game kind of insurance here, while his top laner is just completely smurfing.
Yeah, Senna, all Enos has to do is chill and farm and poke. Utopian Soldier is getting poked out himself. These lanes, like we called out earlier in the draft, these lanes are just going to be really rough for No Stop, but if they can get to that 5v5 phase a little bit more healthy, they can play out these team fights, but these lanes are just burning them alive.
These Cinder Qs are just doing so much damage. He has so much CDR as well, going for the Blackfire first. Looking for a solo kill mid, flashes away, does not get the damage. Utopian Soldier can maybe look for the kill.
Yeah, a little bit optimistic from Zero Domain. Has to burn his flash for that play. Both ultis traded as well, so a little bit of safety gone from Utopian Soldier. Both supports hovering around mid lane to cover for each other as well.
I really want Red Side to make a play on the Cinder no flash. I think this is your timer, and you have to use the speed timers to shut down Zero Domain here.
Yeah, but the team looking a little bit disjointed. Both mid laners having to regroup with the team as Dragon is spawning. So there could be some scuffles in the mid lane, in the jungle area.
And if they choose to, Nightstone has TP advantage over Dark. And he could honestly recall here and play for this Dragon, but he continues to pressure the Cassante, who's up 30% HP under tower.
Yeah, the Syndra is so powerful already. Already has the Blackfire Torch and tier 3 boots completed. So not only does she do damage, she's fast as well. And they will just opt to give away this dragon. It seems they haven't backed off fully. Both teams still posturing.
Yeah, I think it's good that Red Side is just stalling until Ahri gets ult. Because if Ahri gets ult, I think this fight is very manageable, especially if you get one shot this one.
Yeah, we can see Dark getting poked down under turret as Sonya Wu. The snare does land now. Cyclone dropped onto Bumbo. L9 Fearless pops the Crescent Guard, and Bumbo drops low as well. He goes down, but now the Dawning Shadow comes out to finish the kill. That's one over before the Monsoon pushes them out. Sonya Wu trying their best to keep them alive, but the damage from Zero Domain is just too much. Scatter the Weak finds them in the back, and that's a third falling Felix bot. Goes down, only Sonya Wu remains. The snare lands once again, and Zero Domain finishes the kill. That's 4 down, and the ace coming in the top lane as that Ignite finishes the kill. A global ace for Bumbo 13 minutes into the game.
Dragon is not secured yet, but Dragon will be on top, and this early game is going almost perfect for blue side here.
Yeah, this is just demolition in every lane, even in bot lane when they were just forming it out evenly, but that is not where you want to be as Sivergiana versus Senna Sona. So many S's. But yeah, it's just 7k gold lead 14 minutes in. Pretty rough stuff for No Stop. Oh my god.
Yeah, Zero Domain is 141 CS at 14 minutes. Almost 50 CS out, 40 CS left. On his enemy laner. 3-0-2. Having a perfect game here. I got all started with that little fancy footwork in the mid lane. I got the snowball rolling.
Yeah, nice on pops the World Ender. Will chase onto Dark. Dark does have the Kidnap available as well, and will pop it, but doesn't cover much distance. And Night's Dawn will just cut him down where he stands. Another solo kill for Night's Dawn in the top lane.
Felix Spot and Sonya Wu, they're struggling. Like now, at this point, Summer just walks up auto Qs, and what can Summer do? Just to kind of take it. Lose the HP.
Armin's dodged
Another
out,
charm
and
goes
now here
wide.
comes Bumbo, not quite in range to get that Cyclone, so ult's traded once again, but when you have to ult defensively constantly like this, you're just not able to make any more plays across the map.
And the Rocket Bell as well on the Syndra, making it so much harder to hit a charm on this guy. I don't just walk up 2E, and if you try to re-engage, you just Rocket Belt away and win the trade.
Yep, 8k now. The lead for Bumbo
15
Aura
minutes.
Farmers.
I must say one of the strongest showings that our team has shown thus far in the first week. And obviously early predictions, but got to be one of our top teams here.
Yeah, I agree. Don't wanna jinx it at all, but Bumbo Aura Farmers off to a great start in week 1, showing the prowess of their 2 solo laners.
They're all farming. They're all farming for sure.
Yeah, name
Aura
checks
is
out.
farmed.
Name does check out. The Night Style will TP to the bot wave to pick up this gold, so no tempo across the map wasted at all. If you are no stop here, Mr. Rag, what would your avenues of play be? What would you try to do?
I mean, you have to just pick up the side lanes. I think while it's very, very tough to kill this Aatrox, if you can also really your direction of this team, obviously. You have Senna, Sona, and then you also have the Aatrox, and even the Wukong. Oh, yeah, I guess he doesn't have Sucker, actually.
Oh my god.
But you really need healing direction on the team, number 1. Actually, let's see.
Yeah,
this
Zero
fight.
Domain taking a little bit of an
wait.
aggressive teleport.
Oh,
Now the
that's good.
Cyclone will come out to CC down Dark. A good dash across the wall. Zero Domain once again going into the turret to try and get the kill, but now Sonya Wu, who tried to do the Insect Monsoon, wasn't able to secure it. So now they'll try and hold this turret. A good charm. Damage on a Nightstorm, but is healed up by the Sona, and now Scatter the Weak finds through straight onto the Dawning Shadow, and everyone just melts under the World Ender. Bumbo going to dash forward to try and secure the last kill, flashes forward. That's another ace. I respect it. I respect that flash monsoon from Sonya Wu, but it just wasn't enough.
You know, it's desperation times when Janna's trying to engage. Because they are just so slimy here. They have so much micro movement that you just cannot lock them down.
And that
I thought that fight was going to be really good because Cassante was going to W the Syndra back, but I'm pretty sure he rocket belted out of the Cassante W, so it ended up not getting CC. So this is these small things that could have maybe even turned that entire fight. If he was able to get Syndra with the pushback on the W into the Cassante R, that fight could have been very good for Red Side. But the rocket belt just to get out of it kind of made that whole play very, very tough for Red Side here. And healing reduction finally locked in, but it might be a little too late.
Ooh, -1. Sylvian Soldier hanging out in the top lane now against Nightstown. Nightstown can take it a little bit, but it doesn't look like either of these solo lane matchups will be going in the favor of No Stop, no matter how they put it. As Utopian Soldier chooses to clear out the next wave up, while Zero Domain also has priority over his laner. But yeah, I agree. It's just these tiny little micro plays. Every single time it's just the one step, the 1%. But over time it's built up and accumulated into this massive 13k gold lead now at 19 minutes.
Entire time Sena's just been AFK 6 scaling. It's just, I keep going back to this, but this Senna is just gonna walk up, auto queue someone, and he's just gonna kill his whole team.
Yeah, Utopian Soldier
here.
pops a Spirit Rush to try and go in, and now 4 have collapsed onto the World Ender. We'll see if Nightstone is able to get out, doesn't have Flash available, and picks up Utopian Soldier on the back end. Now here comes Dark. He's then able to land the CC, and Nightstone able to dash across the wall. Wind becomes light, and he lands the slow. There's a Blast Cone right there, but he needs the 1 HP. He gets it! Phase to escort Mr. President out of there, and it doesn't look like they have any juice left in the tank. Nightstone gets 1 and gets away with it too.
That's rough. That's rough.
That is rough.
when we try to 1v5 someone, essentially the play is, hey, we're gonna kill this guy, but we're gonna lose a lot on the map for it. But we didn't kill this guy, and we lost a lot on the map for it. So
yeah, the desperation.
now they just get a free setup on the Baron too.
The desperation play. They didn't find what they needed, and this won't be the day that they caught Captain Night's Sparrow.
Honestly, I don't even know who would, like, if you had got the gold on, would be good. Like maybe Sivir, but Sivir is so far from being relevant in this game. She has to get so many items, and even if she does have the items, I really don't know who she is.
Here comes Zero Domain. Coming to pick up a
Zero
little
Domain,
snack.
Rocket Belt's out of the charm just for good measure, even though he's completely dead.
Yeah, just coming to pop in to pick up a little snack. Don't mind if he does.
Yep. Like as the I don't even know. I was gonna say great, like that man is not great. As the person Whippo would call it, this is a happy meal over there. Walk up, get the little Ari, get the wave, get Baron.
Yeah, they're able to play this too. The heals from Senna and Sona. Just keeping Zero Domain healthy through the Baron, but keeping Bumbo healthy through the Baron. Sonya Wu drops the ward onto the Baron. They do see it, but no contest is available.
I'm pretty sure they just gained HP on that Baron. I think they started off with less HP than they ended up with. That's all good.
Yeah, Nightstone even securing that Scuttle Crab to make sure L9 Fearless and the side of No Stop get nothing in return on the cross map.
I won't be surprised if Nightstone didn't let him get his Gromp. Okay, he does not let him get his Gromp.
Oh yeah, for sure. Nightstone completely controlling a hemisphere of the map by himself.
Senna locks in her third item. And Sivir is struggling to finish her second. I don't even know what the item is going to be. I think he's just going to finish the Mortal Reminder. But then you are very lacking in damage, right? Finishing Mortal Reminder. So it's got to be tough.
Yeah, Utopian Soldier might just be dead. And this Syndra hurts. That Scat of the Week will find kills on anyone they landed on. Maybe like that mid as Nightstone solo pressuring the mid by himself. 17k gold lead stands Bumbo Aura Farm as they look to dive in. The flash out from Sonya Wu. Cyclone's still available from Bumbo as they take it up on the turret, but now here pops the World Ender. Dive further in and look how far No Stop is zoned from their turret. They have to watch helplessly as this top inhib turret goes down. Now the inhib's under pressure. Zero Domain at 3.5 items. Will just pop any squishy that comes in, and now Bumbo finds himself the target. L9 Fearless goes down.
Oh!
Sonya Wu goes down. On the other side of the map, Scat of the Week finds Dark, and Dark will go down as well. Double kill over for Zero Domain. And the map is in shambles. The base is in shambles. FaZe even lands the flash crescendo to secure the kill in the fountain. Only Felix Plot.
They have a kill a minute.
Only Felix Plot. The last one remaining, but even he goes down.
Oh, more than a kill a minute. No.
A rough game for No Stop, but an absolutely stellar Game 1 performance from everyone on the side of Bumbo Aura Farmers. And we'll have to see what adaptations No Stop can make to stop this onslaught as we head into Game 2.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. Oh, Good evening, everyone, and welcome back for our final match of Week 1 of DMV Rival Summer 2026. My name is Shiv, joined by Prone, and I hope that No Stop is kind of like me, where they're just waiting till Game 2 to show up, because Game 1 was pretty brutal.
Good call on that one, Shim. Thank you for joining me. But yeah, that was something. Nightstone having himself a haymaker of a game. Zero domain, no slouch himself either. But I felt that no stop was a little bit disrespectful with that drop. They kind of just gave over 3 winning lanes. Yes, they might have picked their own comfort, but that was a little bit interesting as Yone locked in already for, I believe it is no stop on the blue side.
Yeah, so hopefully Utopian will have a better time there with a champion that he's maybe more familiar with. But Yon not knowing what the enemy team is definitely a bold choice. As we'll see kind of the more standard power picks probably from the side of the Aura farmers. Renekton always that strong top blind pick for Nightstone, and the Ezreal for some good flexibility in the bot lane.
Yeah, I love Ezreal in this current meta. Fantastic with that Doran's bow. And even stronger in lane now with that Doran's bow lethal tempo setup that has been so popular. And just an amazing blind pick, especially now that some of his best answers, Senna and Sivir, both gone. He's kind of just there to run the bot lane now. And with support counter matchup, I'm be able to look for something as this is Lissandra locked in, so it might be Yone top. We have no clue, but
yeah, Yon likely getting flexed on here as again Lissandra's a champion that you maybe think of coming in late in a draft to try to deal with certain things that the enemy wants, whether it's like a dive comp and you're fine with Lissandra just like locking down a bunch of melees. But Lissandra getting on top of Ezreal is not gonna be too likely, so I'm a bit worried that the Aura farmers can just draft a ton of range, and both these champions on the side of No Stop will be kind of useless. But we'll see what more they might be cooking.
yeah, none being locked in, so a pick was skipped, but we are being notified that that third pick from the side of No Stop is Nocturne. So a great pairing for Lissandra in theory, but these two champs, even though Nocturne to me, Nocturne obviously with that paranoia dives in straight for a squishy, lands the Q, lands the fear, and does a little bit of damage. But to me, Nocturne is still a utility champ. He kind of dives in, but he's really meant to pair alongside someone. He's meant to set up a play or initiate a play, but you can't rely on him to be the main damage on your dive, on your initiation. And Lissandra is also kind of the same vein, you know? She dives in, presses R on someone or herself, and CCs people around her, but she's not really the person you count on to do the damage in the play. So both these champs, relatively strong setup for the Yone, I guess. So we'll have to see how this Yone can play out in the early game.
Yeah, I do like the definite identity that No Stop is going for. I think they're kind of true to their name. They're just gunning for it here and diving in on this comp. But I do like the response that the Aura farmers have. You know, Ryze, once he gets to his items, like he'll be relatively tanky with Seraphs, with Roa. He's not going to be as vulnerable in the side lanes as maybe like an Orianna could be. So, and Ezreal, of course, has that extra mobility to get away from dive. So we'll see how much else is going to change with these comps, but it feels like they each have their kind of identity already figured out. As with the second phase of bans, we are taking off Tristana, Diana, and maybe another marksman.
Yeah, Lucian, another popular answer to Ezreal, so good call on that ban. And it would be quite foolish if No Stop don't see the Karma ban to take away pairings from Ezreal. But really, anything that allows your team to be more durable and sustain the damage and the engage from Nocturne Lissandra is good. So Seraphine is a good call out there, but Karma is still available, so they might be able to take that, or they'll completely skip it entirely and lock a Sylas straight up.
Okay, so I mean, could be, you know, like Genesis, we could be seeing a Sylas support. Not sure that's going to be the case. I think it's very likely a jungle Silas here. He's got some all right ults, but I think for no stop, they're up against an Ezreal. It might become a pretty oppressive lane with whatever support the Ezreal pairs with. So I'm curious to see what no stop elects for with their bot lane that they've left to the last 2 picks.
Yeah, interestingly enough, no stop also skipping over the Karma, so it looks like neither team really wants it. Well, I mean, they could take it on 5, but it seems that no team really has a huge priority on the Karma champion. Lulu being locked in, and it might be some sort of hyper carry, some sort of strong laner, and it looks like Twitch, one of the classic hyper carry pairings with Lulu.
Yeah, we'll wait to get some confirmation because there definitely are other hyper carries that we look towards. I wasn't thinking Vayne, I was thinking Kog'Maw. I was thinking Jinx, these nice little hyper carries. Vayne, which definitely has a lot more to do on her own.
Yeah, but Vayne also is classically a pretty decent matchup into Ezreal, and this is what this R5 pick was dropped down. They wanted this counter matchup so that they could get a strong lane. They didn't just immediately lock in the Karma. Instead, will pick Hyper Engage to lock down this Vayne and this Lulu. So now this lane is looking pretty volatile. Ezreal no slouch in the early game with the, before I mentioned, the Doran's Bow lethal tempo combo. He can just batter you down with the early game attack speed. So I'll have to see how these lanes play out. But yeah, I also think the Vayne is a little bit disjointed from the rest of the comp. I guess it's similar in the style of like cut out your vision. You know, Vayne is invisible. Nocturne turns out the lights so they can kind of spray. Oh, and like Lissandra Yone will jump by you across the wall. But not a lot of like dive pairing from the bot lane. They're just kind of left out on their own.
Yeah, and we'll see how they can compare to the Nautilus Ezreal. I think, as we mentioned a bit, I feel like the Ezreal is pretty good in this comp. It's going to have that nice laning phase like you've mentioned, but then also it just feels like it's going to do a very nice job into the 5 champions No Stop has showed. He's going to be able to evade the dive with his extra dash. He's going to be able to generally outrange and poke down these lower range carries on the side of No Stop. Silas still feels like a bit of a wild card. That's maybe the one thing on the Aura Farmers comp that gives me a bit of pause. You know, your comp becomes a ton of magic damage, but don't think there's any champion on No Stop that's really going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I agree. The Silas feels a little bit out of place, but when your first 3 picks are Renekton, Ezreal, and Ryze, you kind of have a lot of room for what you want to do as a jungler. These are very stable lanes, albeit Lissandra does set up easy ganks, and Ryze is not a super mobile champion outside of his passive. So that could be a vulnerability, but these champs later on in the game, especially, Renekton and Ryze and Ezreal, extremely self-sufficient, which allows you to have the resources to do whatever you want, to make plays according to how your team is positioned and play off of them. So a very, very self-sufficient and strong comp. They also have plenty of lockdown from Bumbo, Aura Farmers. So I overall just like them a lot. There's a lot of potential across these champions.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing I will say about No Stop is that a lot of times when you get completely beaten down and things aren't looking too good, you just want to make sure everyone is on the same page when you want to do something in the next game. So you draft this comp that's all like, okay, we're all going to just click our R buttons at once, get one guy, and hopefully get it from there with the Nocturne Lissandra Yone dive. So I understand the idea of like, hey, we just want to be the ones to start the fights. We want the easy go buttons for us to get fights on our terms. We'll see how well the Aura Farmers can absorb that dive and dish the damage back with their 2 high damage carries.
Yeah, more importantly, it's not just 3 hard losing lanes right off the bat. It's not 3 hard winning lanes, but they're much more self-sufficient, except for that Yone. Yone into Renekton, historically, I've heard, has been pretty rough for the Yone. But Lissandra, very self-sufficient, can just AFK farm, unlike the Ahri Syndra matchup where you're kind of getting beaten down constantly by that scat of the week, but Vayne and Lulu also able to have some breathing room. It is still range versus melee support matchup, which gives you a little bit more breathing room level 1 to dictate the lane, and if you're able to play off that, you get much more room across levels 2 through 5 as well. So we'll have to see how these lanes play out, much if they're better this time for No Stop.
Yeah, we'll give these folks a bit to load up into game. But Mr. Prone, I was on a work trip this week, so I'm not really up to date on how exactly week 1 has been going. Any big things I gotta know as far as how this week 1 debut week has gone.
There's been a lot of bangers so far. You and I casted the very first one, and then right after you left, there was another back and forth yesterday. I got the pleasure to cast Scooping the Kitty Litter versus 4 Capybaras, 1 Hyrax, which is Hoptech's team, as you know. And old man still got some tricks, I gotta say. But that Scooping the Kitty Litter team, SKL, looks very strong as well. Very, very similar to the style of team which Bumbo or Farmers are. They have an extremely strong carry duo in their mid and AD carry, except this time it's probably their mid and top for Bumbo or Farmers, but their lane's very strong, their jungler very strong. Easy Hister put on a show yesterday. And these two, I believe these two teams so far have been incredibly powerful, and they've really caught my eye this week.
Okay. Good to know that there's some new folks and new roles ripping it up. Alrighty, everyone. We are in for game number 2 between No Stop and the. Am I reading the script right? The
Bumbo Aura Farmers.
The Bumbo Aura Farmers. And the Aura Farmers absolutely did their job in game number 1, and we'll see if No Stop can really respond as we have a scuffle in the bot lane to start us off. Felix getting down very low. Has to burn the heal. Flash forward from FaZe, but the barrier from Felix bot keeps him afloat. And so, a bit of kerfuffling, but thankfully, No Stop don't give up any kills.
Yeah, and crucially, they hold on to the flashes, too. FaZe burns his flash, and that exhaust level 1 is super powerful. As well as this Ezreal didn't even go to Doran's bow, but Enos just pumping out damage on this Ezreal.
As we take stock of the map here early on, we've got both junglers starting off on the bot side, so no early pathing to punish the Flashless Nautilus or lack of summoners on the Vayne Lulu. They will likely be left to their own devices. But hey, those top laners also throwing out summoner spells as Dark uses his Exhaust very early on.
And Nightstone does have Ignite and Press the Attack. So we'll be able to threaten as the Dredge line hits.
Yeah, Felix getting down very low, evades one of the Mystic shots, so even with the level 2 spike, they're forcing the side of No Stop back.
Yeah, there's been one great Vayne performance so far in DMV already from Young Jay. And we're looking to see if Felix Bot is able to do the same. Does get forced back early in the lane as his Ezreal gets priority, but we can see that this Doran's Bow item, as an AD carry player, I absolutely love how this item has shaped lanes now. We can see that L9...
Oh, a nice hook, but it... Oh, okay, what?
It skipped the
Phenomenal. First blood to Ennis, just like we drew it up.
Just like we drew it up, yeah. Great hooks from FaZe. This is what they wanted the counterpick support for, and it's been working wonders. As Nightstone wants the trade in this top lane.
Oh yeah, but he's got to flash away from Dark, who's going to try to go and lands the Q3. He is ignited. Ooh. W, though, comes up. He's got the shield, and he'll live for now. Bumbo is around the bend with a greedy recall, but I think it should pay off. A solo kill for Dark, getting something going after a rough game 1.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense why they banned Yone out in game 1 now. They didn't want Zero Domain to take it away from Dark. And this pick has paid off now. Renekton's supposed to be a counter matchup, but Bumbo knows, or Dark knows it better. And this is also what I was going to say with the Doran's Bow. It has really changed a lot of how lanes go. Now you can see Yone is a huge winner of that item. And he's able to win these early trades where normally you wouldn't be able to out DPS the long trades and proc it the lead tempo early on.
Oh, but now Zero Domain might be in trouble as flash forward from L9 trying to get in there with the Fear Tendrils. Gets the Fear, but Zero Domain knows he just needs to pop the Ghost and he's okay, but Nightstone is not okay. Zero Domain even walking back to try to trade with Utopian, who did burn the flash, so a lot of action in the solo lanes with Dark being the main benefactor.
Top lane quickly snowballing. Nightstone, neither top laner has this teleport available, so all these deaths stick all the more. A huge kill on a crashing wave. That's going to be a level advantage. And now another 300 gold advantage coming in. So a full recurve bow and 2 daggers on top of that. That lethal tempo will stack so fast.
Yeah, may get to be pretty rough times for Nightstone. I have to imagine that when you draft something like the Lissandra, like the Nocturne, you're really looking to affect those side lanes, maybe get the playmaking going from Utopian Soldier, same way they maybe wanted to do on the Ahri, go into other lanes and making magic happen. Dark definitely putting them in a better spot to do so with this early lead.
Yeah, but the trading is going to keep coming out. Oh my god. Yeah.
And even trading in bot lane as see the Nautilus getting to work. But actually, Dark gets another solo kill. My camera was locked on the mid lane of 2 people being 50% HP, not autoing each other. But it's another solo for Dark, taking matters into his own hands after game 1. I think that he's got more kills this game than his team had last game.
Yeah, whoever's running the league camera over there, they might be on a little bit of something. I've never had my spectator camera go this crazy in a game before.
Either way, excellent stuff from Dark here on the Yone. And we'll see if, you know, Zero Domain, Ennis, and Bumbo can get some of the leads on the other sides of the map.
Yeah, we can see it's kind of the opposite of game 1 now. Both the lanes, solo lanes, are kind of doing a lot better. Utopian Soldier down a little bit still, but now level 6 has come around and the CC will be there for L9 Fearless.
Does Utopian have mana to lock him down with the R? As now Zero Domain's going to try to get to the Realm Warp, and he will do so. Bumbo even here for backup, but yeah, Utopian not able to really lock down the Rise to get his Nocturne involved.
I spoke a little bit too soon, Jim. Bumbo level 6 now, though.
And Bumbo trying to press forward to that level 6. He will be perhaps the first one to turn off the lights. He takes the Paranoia, moves in with FaZe. Meanwhile, on top side, we have a Fate sealed. Dominus proc by Nightstone as the top laner just going to work. Ignite, though, onto Dark. The Croc is still ready to brawl. Forces the Yone back. Gets the health lead, gets the wave in. The bot lane invade doesn't look like it amounted to too much.
This top lane is so dicey. Nightstone and Dark both playing on their knife's edge, but now Dark will have to drop this wave. So Nightstone gets the victory on this battle.
Yeah, and now you're looking at a situation where Dark and Nightstone, their flashes are almost about to be up, but now both junglers have access to that global Paranoia and can arrive at any moment. No real deep enough wards are there on the red side as
Oh, that was
I don't think
that
that's
was
the
the
first
Silas
Paranoia
because it was dropping.
yeah. I saw the Nocturne around the lane and I got a bit confused. But okay, that makes a lot more sense. So scratch everything I said in that monologue. Bumbo does have to burn the Paranoia before he can really make anything happen. And now Fearless is going to be the one with a lot of hidden map pressure. We do have those deep wards on the Raptors, spawning him out so that they know where they need to be careful of the Paranoia.
Yeah, this is kind of the position you don't want to be in as Enos, though, because as Ezreal early on, you can't be in a lane extended for a long time without any mana. Even though you have the tier, you've kind of just been taking it down.
Oh, and we're just going to send the Nocturne on in, but Ennis does burn the flash, so they either knew the mana or timed the Arcane Shift. They get that Summoner off the Ezreal to get something out of that first Paranoia.
Yeah, I mean, great trigger pull. They recognized exactly, like I said, that Ezreal was kind of overstaying without any mana. And it doesn't look like he had the Arcane Shift available. So this is exactly what you can't really be staying as an Ezreal. If you don't have that Arcane Shift available, you really are just a sitting duck. Because without that tier, you're just a longsword and a dagger. Nothing really too hot. And without any mana, it's going to be hard to keep your passive going without extra Qs that you're able to pump out. So ultimately, he is able to get the push out with the pressure from the Nocturne. But that will cost the Void Grubs.
Yeah, and we do see that in spite of that pressure, they're winning out on those trades. 32 CS lead for Ennis down there. So while this Vayne Lulu combo is drafted, definitely to do more later on, the early stage is definitely favoring the side of the Aura farmers in the bot lane.
Yeah, the Silas kind of off to the races too. You see he's going to be able to take 3 quadrants on this Nocturne, which means the Unland Fearless really has no choice but to take the dragon that is left standing in his top lane.
Oh, we have Dominus pop by Nightstone into a flash out from Dark. As Yona's going to feel a bit more pressure. This does not feel like a lane that Dark got 3 solo kills in. We're seeing Nightstone still be able to apply pressure and maybe set something up for Bumbo as he's lurking in the Tri-Brush.
Yeah, a lot of being focused, being pinned onto this top lane. It's nice not much to be able to
go
pick up
in,
the solo
drops the
kill, but
ignite.
no.
Here comes Bumbo with the abduct, and the Fate Sealed is not in time. A nice pickup in the top lane.
Yeah, and no stop. Didn't even pick up the dragon in the first place. So
Just some fighting happening between the mid laners as Utopian is going to lock him up in the Frozen Tomb. A good bit of damage, but nothing lethal. As meanwhile, on the other side, they find Felix bot. Now the Vayne's getting very low. They're trying to turn it onto Zero Domain, but he's got Ghost, he's got Flash, he gets away. As they try the aggressive Lulu Flash R-engage, and now she's the one on the dredge line. But FaZe may have overstepped. They have Bumbo working his way down here. Paranoia in to try to get something, but the Titan's Wrath shield is just barely enough for FaZe to live. But at least Fearless is the only casualty on the side of No Stop.
yeah, well, we talked about, you weren't here for this ship, but we talked about in game 1 that the game kind of spiraled out of control, but it was just constant 1 HP, one tiny click over No Stop, but Dark will look for the trade top.
And ulti used by Dark. And see how much of this crocodile health bar he can chop through. Surely it's a lot. Hits another Q3 and takes the snap back for a solo. But this time, the turret heats up and it will be traded back.
Yeah, Dark does get the flash there. So I guess that's +1 out of that. Utopian Soldier getting collapsed on now.
Could be a +1 in the mid lane as Utopian has to flash away from the dredge line. Like the action from FaZe. Getting out onto the map. Because I think Ezreal definitely a more independent champion. As FaZe can go out and do more of his own searching in the seas as the Nautilus.
Like I was saying, the game has constantly just been tiny missteps or tiny outplays that just accumulated over time. And that was exactly one of those sequences in the bot river where it was just over and over constant outplays and constant forced plays, I guess, from No Stop. Because if we go back and watch, or if you go back and see, Utopian Soldier kind of just popped everything on Zero Domain before L9 Fearless or anyone was ready to go on to Zero Domain. So Zero Domain was able to sprint out of there before Paranoia was ready. And then Felix bot got chunked on the back end because L9 Fearless got pulled back up to where Utopian Soldier was. So just a slight game of push and pull, and they won it out on both ends.
Yeah, and we are starting to see that come through on the scoreboard, as it is the 3.5k gold lead. Is now Sonya getting very low. Depth charge is going to get dropped. Wild Growth to try to get the Lulu out to safety. True Shot Barrage not going to be enough. Sylas is around the corner, but so is the Nocturne flying in with the Paranoia, but he is now stunned up because the counter gank is there for the Sylas. Bumbo needs to get himself out of there as Utopian has made his way down. Gonna proto belt, but no one to be found on the end of the Frozen Tomb, so that is that for that play.
Sheesh. Everyone just so low. It sucks to see, but at least No Stop are just constantly getting out on these 1 HP bars and they're able to live another day. So not too bad so far. The gold lead already at 3k. It doesn't even seem like anything monumental has happened.
Yeah, I mean, you alluded to it when he was triple quadranting the Nocturne, but Bumbo has an insane lead in the jungle right now. He is up 2.5 levels without much action, like you've said. He's just been efficient with his farming, taking away camps when Fearless looks for a play, and that's what makes that bot lane play so difficult, because it's a level 7 Nocturne trying to fly in there, and he's not really going to have the damage to do anything.
Yeah, Blade of the Rune King finished on Dark now, so he's kind of just full build, but now there's 3 people in top lane. Oh.
Yeah, but the Fate Sealed is ill-timed. They were laying in wait. The trap is sprung, and Dark went from 3-0 to 4-3 and losing his tower.
Yeah, Nightson looking a little bit too scrumptious there. Fates them in perfectly. I mean, that's just a great play call in general. FaZe and Bumbo knew how Dark was going to play it. Or Nightson just called it out. Great trade.
Yeah, and we have the Sylas and Nautilus just taking over this top quadrant. Sonya was trying to be very aggressive in the bot lane. Doesn't cost her too much, but Fearless is definitely going to lose a lot more than just his wolves. He's got nowhere to go. This jungle belongs to Bumbo and the Aura farmers.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, absolute props to FaZe this game. Not only have they just won the bot lane matchup, they did get the counter matchup, so it was kind of warranted. But not only did they win the bot matchup, but he's also just been everywhere at Felix bot.
Oh my god, he's feeling himself a bit there with the final hour, but he just gets shot down by the Ezreal. And things definitely starting to slip away from No Stop here at the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, there's only been 11 combined kills, but there is a almost 6k gold lead. And that just sums up pretty much this entire series so far. Game 1, the kills were relatively even, but the gold was just monumental. It's looking to be the same.
We will see. I mean, Fearless has not had too much success thus far on the Nocturne. Paranoia bot got the Ezreal flash. They were never really able to come back and do anything about that. Is there anything you're looking for this Nocturne to make a play with here with the Paranoia?
Well, it might be right now.
Oh, never mind. We got a Paranoia in mid right as we say it. There's the stolen frozen tomb, though, which makes it so difficult for Fearless to escape, and down he will go. But Lissandra is now without her dive partner. She falls to a double kill for Zero Domain.
Yeah, the Lissandra Nocturne dive combo was what they were planning on, but Bumbo or Farmers just say, we'll dive you harder. And they send 4 into this mid lane to secure those kills. Only Sonya Wu remains, but this Vayne and Lulu split up make them almost entirely worthless.
Yeah, you can't be clearing out that wavy little Yordle, as she's got to burn both summoners there. Ocean Dragon now also secured, fairly late second dragon, but I don't think the Aura Farmers mind too much with how this game is going.
Yep, 7k now at 17 minutes, about similar to what it was last game. Except instead of kills this time, it's just waves, minions, turrets, jungle camps, everything in between. Only a 5 kill difference, but probably more gold than, or more thousands in gold than the kill difference.
And at least from my view, definitely looks like it's going to get worse before it gets better. Ryze isn't even real yet. He doesn't have his double stacked items. This feels like it should have been a map that gets ran by that early lead on the Yone. By a Yone who's now trying to take the fight against Zero Domain. Has the exhaust to try to trade back, and Ryze actually ejects himself with the Realm Warp, but he knows he's got friends in the area. He knows Dark is not escaping this one, as FaZe locks him down with the Ignite passive route, and Zero Domain will finish the job. 3-0-1 on the Rise.
Zero Domain putting on the blue slate shoes with that flash, dodging out of that unsealed fate, and confirming Dark's death in the process. I respect that flash a lot, actually, and now that's just full map control being given over to Bumbo or Farmers on the top side.
Rift Herald as well, now going the way of Bumbo, who has put on a fantastic Silas game, now up 60 CS in the jungle position, which honestly just feels like something we don't see anymore, with how much, like, so much easier for everyone to clear with the pets, with how much easier it is to get vision with the scryers and everything. It feels like you never really see a complete farm lead like this in the jungle position, so props to Bumbo. They're doing a very nice job on this ass, despite there not being as much combat. But I feel like combat is what the side of No Stop needs to get themselves back in this. What are you looking for before this Cloud Dragon spawns for them to have a shot at this?
Well, the good news is that this is only the 3rd drag. So if No Stop want a chance to get any gold back, they would send it on the cross map, send it on this 4-kill Yone, the only champ that is still relatively even in the game state, to try and play for him, try and get some power in the side lanes back. Because other than that, there's no real way to walk in and contest what Bumbo Aura Farmers are lining up in the bot side.
Yeah, we'll continue to see the coordinated invades from FaZe and Bumbo to just take over quadrants of the enemy jungle. Nocturne just has to pick up the scraps along that top side, while also being in fear of that Renekton. Feel like that Yone does have to play pretty safe right now, given he is without his summoners. He's not going to be able to put up too much of a fight against that Renekton.
Yeah, the good news is that the top side hasn't been warded, or that No Stop has been able to clear the top side of wards, so they can try and launch a play from anything there if they can spring Lissandra and Nocturne onto the same side and kind of just one-shot whoever they CC. That's kind of their only avenue, though, as like you can see this bot side is entirely warded out. So anything that they'll try and set up here where the Nocturne and Lissandra are currently stacked up will kind of just be completely telegraphed.
Yeah, we'll see them continue to take away that bot side vision there, as FaZe's hook that time not going to find a target.
They're just all over that red side. Like, No Stop can barely walk in. Sonya Wu gets that pig ward in that bush, so that's the farthest that their light can see. But it's just a rough map for No Stop. And Zero Domain.
Utopian getting very low in the bot lane. Zero Domain doesn't have quite enough damage yet, but still very much a threat in these side lanes.
Got 2 item Lissandra, or 2 item Rides and 2 item Ezreal. Extremely strong, and FaZe even here with the flank.
Yeah, forces the flash off of the poor little Lulu. And Herald even gonna get a charge in. Now gonna get piloted by Bumbo down to the bot side so that they can clean up these inner towers.
Yeah, something important to know is that not only are they getting their lead, but Bumbo Aura Farmers are so surgical in how they continue to play out the map. There's almost no mistakes, just like in last game. It was just constant suffocation and constant pushing their advantage over and over everywhere onto the map, and they just move around so cleanly with that Realm Warp, with that Rift Herald, just picking up everywhere on the map all the standing gold that they can without any risk. And then when they take their fights, they're very calculated. There's no sort of circus show going on here, unlike the earlier week DMV games. Just clean, surgical, and oppressive League of Legends.
Yeah, I mean, that clean surgical gameplay, you know, it's all well and good. You've grown your lead from like 4K to 10K without killing anyone. Great job, but I want some action. And we're gonna get it in the top lane as Utopian Soldier is gonna get caught out in the sides. That's gonna be a solo kill even for Zero Domain. And possibly, I mean, I don't know how much pedal to the metal Aura Farmers want to go, but Baron is certainly on the table.
Yeah, one of your dive buddies is gone, so almost no way in to this Baron at all. That should just be a free Baron picked up for Bumbo Aura Farmers.
Yeah, and I mean, we're now definitely at the point where we are running out of time to see a counterpunch from the side of No Stop. It feels like the bus has definitely stopped. We have not gotten any paranoias. We have not gotten any Frozen Tombs or Fate Sealing in these side lanes to try to muscle their way back into the game, even if it's maybe a low probability play because of how well the side of Aura Farmers have set up the map. They're running out of time to take any kind of risk or any kind of play before this gets wrapped up in a 2-0 sweep.
Yeah, Flash being forced out from L9 Fearless. Another reason you pick this Nocturne is so you can bridge your laners. Because, you know, this Nocturne champion is not scalar. This Dredge line almost lands, but Nocturne, popular with his dive buddies, but also with these scaling control mages like the Orianna for that knock wave, but also with like Azir or or Aurora. Is champs that can scale relatively well and have a lot of self-sufficiency, so you can always play off of the Nocturne. But not something like the Lissandra I'm not too fond of the Lissandra. Like I said before, both of these champs kind of function as setup champs. So when they're both kind of down, when the rest of your team is not in the running with the rest of the game, it becomes very difficult for the rest of the team to play through the setup of these two.
Yeah, the buddy ball is not going to go too well if both people just are trying to set for the spike. It's like, no, someone's got to drive that ball to the other side of the net. And thought that maybe it could be that Yone with the lead that Dark got initially. I think he's still in a fine spot compared to his opposite number. But we're looking at an item advantage on Ennis. We're looking at an item and a half advantage on Zero Domain. It is not gonna be smooth sailing for anyone unless we very specifically get another Yone Renekton 1v1.
Yeah, Actualizer being complete for this Rise, so he's kind of... I would not be surprised if he just straight up one-shot Lulu in like EWQ or something like that.
Yeah, but they're going to go for the play off this Frozen Tomb. They're diving on in, but there's the massive Seraph Shield, and Felix is now getting very low. Fate Shield hits out to one. They're trying to trade back 1 kill, but no one is dropping on the side of the Aura Farmers. They're too far ahead. They've taken out 4. They'll take out Sonya to complete the ace. 5 for nothing. And that's how they're going to wrap up the series.
They got the best look they possibly could. They stunned up the Zero Domain for like 5 seconds and dropped the whole kitchen sink and everything on him, and it just wasn't enough. So, I mean, well played from Bumbo or Farmers.
Yeah, they're gonna maybe try to farm some more damage on the fountain, but no one will spawn. It's gonna be a clean, dominant 2-0 for the Bumbo Aura Farmers.
Yeah, I mean, there's always got to be one team that looks good in week 1, and it's looking like this week, and from here on, it's going to be the Bumbo Aura Farmers. Zero Domain, of course, everyone knows, is one of the best players in the tournament, the best player in tournament in terms of elo, and Nightstar, no slouch. Their jungler, no slouch either. Bumbo himself, the team they named after Aura farming on that Silas pick. But yeah, this team is all the eyes on them right now as they sweep this week with minimal effort, it seems like.
Yeah, an absolute credit to Ennis for stepping in as the sub here for them. And we'll see if they can continue that performance in the future. Meanwhile, aside No Stop, gotta just have a short memory, move on to next week. And, you know, just like, I don't know if there's much we can really take away and learn, or if we just need to move on and see what week 2 will bring. Week 2, in theory, starts tomorrow. Now that every team has wrapped up their games and we can get schedules going. Pay attention and be on the lookout for when those are scheduled. We'll definitely have some hopefully more contested games than what we had here today. But yeah. Anything else you got, sir?
I mean, thanks for giving me and Shiv a quick, fast one so we can go back on vacation or something. But yeah, just a absolutely stellar game today. All eyes on them, and looking forward to playing them.